What's up, Poker Beast? Kato here, and today we're playing cards. Let's hit the film.
Welcome back to the vlog. This is part 2 of a 2-part episode. If you haven't seen part 1, make sure you start with that. The link's on the screen right now. I go from $70 to $600. It's a great one. The first hand we look down at is pocket sixes. Remember, I have $627 to start this. This is halfway through the session. I'm in the hijack, and when the middle position players limp in, I decide to bet $10. The big blind calls, both the middle position players call, and we're going to a flop 4 ways with $41 in the pot. We have position on the table, and we're really just looking to spike a 6, which we do when the dealer puts out 6, 10, 8, two-tone. Interestingly enough, the big blind likes this flop, and he decides to knock out here, putting out $35. The other 2 players fold, and now I'm faced with the decision. It's a connected board with 2 spades on it. Should I raise, or should I just make the call? I'm thinking because of my position, and because I'm not sure what my opponent has in the big blind, that I'm just going to make the call here, see what develops on the turn, and evaluate then. Maybe I should have raised, start getting money in the pot, charge him for his draws, but no, I decided to just flat call. We're going heads up to the turn. There's already $111 in the pot, and the dealer puts out the 2 of hearts. It's a blank. It doesn't change anything, and my opponent continues to bet into me. This time he sizes up for $55. Once again, I'm faced with the decision, should I raise or should I call? My hand's very strong and very concealed, and I'm nervous that I'll push away a lot of hands that I beat. My opponent's really taking the initiative, and he's really putting money in the pot. I want him to be able to do it one more time on the river. I've played with him a few times before. I'm not sure he'd be this aggressive with the draw. I'm putting him more on 2 pair or less. I make the call, and we're going to the river. The dealer puts out the king of spades. Not good. The spades get there, and my opponent immediately slams $100 in the middle of the pot. I, of course, am going to make the insta-call. I'm losing to straights and flushes, so I don't want to push my luck too hard, but he flips over king 10, and I'm scooping the pot. I'm not sure if I played it well, and I have a feeling that I miss out on value. I slam my chips down. I'm kind of frustrated, but I need to get over it because I'm scooping a nice-sized pot. I'm curious to hear what you think about this hand. Let me know in the comments. We're moving on to the next one, where I get dealt ace of diamonds, king of hearts, in the big blind. The straddled pot, I have $848 on my stack, and I'm ready to play. The hijack calls, the small blind calls, and I'm going to bump it up. Playing out of position with an offsuit ace-king, definitely need to be charging to stay in. I make it $40. I'm not sure about my sizing. Maybe I could have gone a little more, but $40 seems to be working at this table. I get folds around, and then the small blind goes all in. He has $106 left, and I make the call. Of course, we're going to go to a full board run out, $224 in the pot. Let's see what develops. My opponent tells me he has a pair. I'm behind. Queen 4-6, no help. Deuce on the turn, and of course an ace on the river. Great book, Barry Greenstein. I always say if there's not an ace on the flop, there's going to be one on the river, and sure enough, my saying holds true. My opponent folds pocket 7s, and we're scooping another pot thanks to the poker gods. The second half of the session is going better than the first. We scoop in our chips, throw a few to the dealer. I know you guys love to see it. We're sitting pretty with $972 in our stack, and we look down at ace-jack offsuit in the hijack. I bumped it up to $15 after the middle position player limped, and the cutoff button, small blind, and middle position players call. We're headed to the flop, $78 in the pot with 5 players. Ace-jack offsuit can, I think, be overvalued and overplayed, but not today when the dealer puts out ace-queen-ace rainbow. With only 1 ace left in the deck, and my kicker's so strong, I think I have the winner. But I'm not going to slow play this one. I feel like if the original raiser checks and then starts being more aggressive on the turn and river, it's pretty obvious that he may have an ace. Plus, you've lost out on some value. I want to disguise my hand, put a little bit more money in the pot, maybe thin the field. I bet $15. The middle position player calls, and everyone else folds. We're headed to the turn, $108 in the pot, and the turn is the king of spades. No good. My kicker doesn't matter anymore. If my opponent has an ace, we're chopping the pot. When my opponent checks to me, it's time to put in a little bit larger size bet. I decide on $45. I'm targeting any king, any queen. It's going to be hard to fold those away, especially with my bet on the flop. It doesn't seem like I have an ace. They make the call, and the river is the 3 of clubs. It doesn't improve our hand. It's hard to improve our hand, and my opponent does something weird. She donk leads out for $15. Not what I expected. I think it's a protective bet. I think that she may not have something she really wants to call with, and so I stick with the same size raise, $45. With the pot $213, I probably could have bet even more. Regardless, she makes the call. I got thin value, and I show the winner. My chips are starting to block my view. I trade in 500 reds for greens, and I'm sitting with $1,140. It's awesome.
All right, guys, we are having a crazy and fantastic session. At the very beginning, we dropped down to like $75. I had played so many hands, I have no idea how I'm going to edit this vlog, but especially in the past hour or so, I've been on a mad rush. The table is perfect. This is Friday night poker. I usually don't play weekend nights. It's a completely different beast. You got people drinking. You got people that are just here at the casino for fun. If you're liking this content, please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to bring some great content to you. Let's get back to the film.
The dealer pitches us a card. It feels heavy, and we look down at pocket kings. Let's just take a moment and think about how good that feels. Okay, now the under the gun player limps, and it folds around to me. In the low jack, I bet $16. The hijack calls, the small blind calls, and the under the gun player calls. We're going 4 ways to a flop with $68 in the pot. We're hoping for a flop that helps our kings, but the dealer puts out 3 diamonds, the jack, 5, and 8, and we don't have one. It checks around to me. It's a little scary. There could be snakes in the grass. I'm not going to just let this one go to the turn, though. I look back at my kings, although I know they're both black, hoping that one of them changed to a diamond. I close my eyes and bet $45. It's kind of scary. I'm hoping no one re-raises me. I get one caller and under the gun player, and we're going to the turn. The turn, of course, improves my hand greatly. It's exactly what you'd expect when I have pocket kings. Just the card that I want to see. It's the ace of clubs. When my opponent checks to me, I decide I'm just going to have to play this one safe. I'm going to have to call down a bet on the river as long as it's not too large. And I'm just going to have to give him a free card, although he could be holding a diamond. It could be the ace of diamonds. Who knows what he has? I check, we go to the river, and it's the king of hearts. Wonderful. I wish I would have been on the flop. My opponent decides it's time to take the initiative. He bets $50. This has me confused. There are a lot of hands that beat me. I got lucky with the king on the river. Potentially, I don't want to get greedy. Unless he's trying to steal the pot, which doesn't seem likely with such a small bet. He might have been slow playing me, hoping that I bet the turn so he could raise. I have the decision, am I going to raise or am I just going to make the call, into the hand, going to showdown, and scooping an already decent sized pot? When I think about what would call my raise that I beat, I realize there's not that much. So I decide to just make the flat call, and it's good. He had pocket tens, and I don't think I could have probably extracted any more value from him. It's always a good idea not to get greedy, both in poker and in life. I take a quick break from the table. When I come back, the table's beautiful. What I say in this next section really applies to the next hand, so listen closely.
Okay, I got back to the table, and it's even better than when I left. There's a drunk 2-5 player who's eager to gamble. The donkey, the player who's playing interesting poker, to say the least. I sat down, and he slow rolled a poor woman, 7 deuce, 2 pair, and a $600 pot. He's doubled up twice, so his chips are going to be hopefully headed my way. This is about to be a good game. I've got a lot in front of me, so I have to play my best poker. Let's do it, guys.
This next hand is absolutely wild. I get dealt 7 deuce suited in middle position. I got 1287 in my stack, and I was inspired by the C5 player who just slow rolled that poor young lady and won a big pot. I decided to get a little frisky, and I open the action to $15. The low jack calls, and the small blind grabs a bunch of chips like he's about to raise, but he decides just to make the call. The middle position player calls as well. We're going 4 ways to the flop, $63 in the pot. When you're holding 7 deuce suited, there's only so many good flops that you can get. I think I got about the best one. 6-8-4, all spades. I flopped the gut shot straight flush draw, and it made flush. It's a very low flush, and so I'm going to continue to bet, protect my hand, and when it checks around to me, I bet $40 into the $63 pot, a 2/3 pot size bet. It folds around to the small blind, who's on his phone, doesn't look that interested until bam, he puts his phone away and he comes out swinging. He decides to raise $115 total. He's got $300 behind him, and this hand is getting big fast. I have one option. I don't want to sweat any more cards. I don't want to see any more spades. If he has the ace of spades, I want to put him to the test. I go all in for my entire stack. I've got him covered by a lot. He snaps calls instantly, and we're going to the river. I ask him if he has a flush. He says no. The return is the 8 of clubs, the river, the 3 of diamonds. We're scooping this one. He has pocket aces with the ace of spades. That's why he was thinking about raising pre-flop. It doesn't matter though. Game over. 7 deuce has cracked pocket aces. I scoop a massive stack. Unfortunately, right after this hand, the game breaks. We're all shuffled around to other empty seats at other tables, and I have $1,618 in front of me. I'm sad to have been broken up from that beautiful table, but there are some big stacks here, especially seat 5, and he's kind of a wild player. We get into 2 big hands right away. Look at the size of this pot. I miss my flush draw and have to fold away on the river. The next hand, I flop 2 pair, and I get counterfeited by his king jack. The player I want to beat's getting the best of me. The table's getting the best of me, but luckily I win the promotion and draw a chip out of the bucket. It's $75, and of course, I'm going to flip it for the vlog every single time. The flip is good, It's now $150. I lost all my red chips, I'm down to only greens, and I decide this is the perfect time to cash out. All right, we've wrapped the session, and it was a great session. We were in for our original 200, and we cashed out for $1,450, giving us a profit of $1,250 on the night. And to think that we were down to $70, like 5 hands into the evening. There's a saying in poker, and that is a chip and a chair. As long as you got a chip and a chair, you got a chance. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in a few days. PokerBEASTs out.